Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Unholy Brotherhood of the Electric Church, coming at you from here in Maryland, Super Bowl Sunday. So we've got some interesting shit to go along with all that, kind of mix it up for you. How was your week, Will? How'd everything go?
It's pretty good. Pretty good week. Not too much going on. Getting ready for the Super Bowl. I got a little Super Bowl watch party go to here shortly. So what about you? You ready for the Super Bowl? You have a good week?
Man, fuck the Super Bowl. Fuck that. Yeah, I had a good week. I mean, if I could get away from everybody talking about the fucking Super Bowl, it would have been a fucking fantastic week if I didn't have to deal with that and a multitude of other things like driving in fucking traffic like normal. But I mean, it doesn't help whenever you already have a shitty week. But I have shitty weeks every week, shitty, but I have good shitty weeks and bad shitty weeks. So this one has kind of been on the bad side just because I can't get away from the fucking Super Bowl. All they are is overpaid fucking athletes. Like they get paid to play a fucking game. Like, and you see them all in the fucking news and everything, giving their commentary on this or that. No one gives a fuck what you think about anything that's going on in the world. We want you to play with a ball on a field for 3 months out of a fucking year and make more money than what we could ever fucking dream of because we're just dumb zombies that like to watch this game for whatever reason. Like, yeah, it's cool in fucking high school when you're seeing kids do something that's positive and energetic, but then you get these fucking NFL players that make hundreds of millions of dollars and fucking get DUIs and wreck and crash and kill fucking people. And then like you have people when they do this, their fans don't care that they just killed a fucking mother or anything like this. Their fans just like free fucking whoever their name is because I don't fucking know anybody from football anyway anymore. I mean, I know Patrick Mahomes because that's all anybody wants to fucking talk about this week. This kid is a young fucking player, and they're already saying that he's the next Tom Brady. We're never going to fucking see Tom Brady again. We're never going to see Cal Ripken again from baseball. Like Tom Brady, you need to seal that up in a little box. And this is the definite nail in the fucking casket for me. It's the final nail. Tom Brady's retired. I don't care about football anymore at all, like 0%. Unless the Ravens go to the Super Bowl, which they probably won't because we have a shitty fucking quarterback that everybody thinks is fucking God for some reason. You know, so the Ravens hope for me, like I really, by and large, I stopped watching football in 2013 or whenever it was that Ray Lewis retired. After that, I was like, man, screw this. And it started getting fucking soft after that too. Like I want to see the ransoms come back. Like I want to see a middle linebacker that's 5'10" and just jacked and stacked, fucking knocking people's heads off. But you can't even do that anymore. And it's the same with baseball, man. And that's really downs me out about fucking sports in general. They just want to put rules in fucking place to fucking make the game weak and soft. And then they want to pay the people fucking outrageous sums of money. There's no loyalty to teams anymore. Like Elway played for the Broncos and Favre played for the Packers and Steve Young played for the 49ers. Now it's like, yeah, we'll play there for 2 years and we're going to get more money over here. So let's go over here. Like, fuck that. Fuck the Super Bowl. Fuck sports. And you know what? Even the halftime shows are stupid. Like, you have fucking Adam Levine. You have Rihanna, who eats a fucking donkey dick. Like, she sucks. She's horrible. She's the worst musician they could have had. They have Beyonce whenever they had her. No one gives a fuck about that. Maybe I'd be interested if they could resurrect ODB from the fucking grave and put Wu Tang on, like the whole Wu Tang crew, like
What the fuck?
the 36 chamber Wu Tang, like, Wu Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with, man. Like that shit. Like Wu Tang's for the kids, man. You could put that shit on the Super Bowl.
It's
ODB
like
said it. It's for the kids.
Wu-Tang's like Frank's Red Hots. You can put that shit on anything.
Yeah, them and like get 3 6 Mafia up there, like the whole crew, bring all them back from the dead. And you got like Juicy J up there just bopping and dancing around, fucking DJ Paul me mugging everybody. You got fucking Crunchy Black doing whatever the fuck he does because no one knows what he does. I don't think he even knows. His brain, he's done so many drugs that his brain is just nothing. Like it's not even mush. It's just not there. Like,
Non-existent.
yeah, it ate the chemicals ate away. But maybe then if you put those dudes on there, maybe then I'd watch it. or like NWA or like Ice Cube, like not like this. I want to be a cop, Ice Cube, like old like Compton thug Ice Cube, like that dirty grimy shit. Like that's what we need in the Super Bowl. Bring back like the hits. They're just smashing people. Like they're taking quarterbacks' heads off, concussions everywhere. OJ wearing gloves, that don't
Well, what
fit.
what did you think about last year's Super Bowl with Eminem, 50 Cent, Dr. Dre? I mean, was that
Nah, I
to your
didn't. Nah, I didn't even watch it. Like I don't. Them like that's soft rap. Like that was radio rap. Like Eminem was hard whenever he came out, but then like I don't know. Like I liked his old shit, like killing people and putting them in the trunk.
right?
But like that's what I want to hear. I don't want to hear like that Mockingbird shit or like that like rap god shit. Like we get it. You can talk fast. Like Twista did it first.
Right, right.
Bone Thugs did it before them. Like so you're not doing anything new there. Like I don't give a fuck about you. And I mean he just ruined like I still like his old shit, but I don't care what you think about shit. Like you're entitled to, but like I don't care about what you think. Just do what you're supposed to do and perform and entertain. Like I mean,
Exactly.
3 6
Exactly.
Mafia never changed it up. You
Well,
know,
it sounds like you're pretty excited for the Super Bowl from what I can tell.
well, I'm not gonna watch it. I can tell you that. I ain't watching that shit. Why would I watch that? Why? It's not even like any decent teams that I like. Like fuck the Eagles and fuck the Chiefs. The Chiefs have been in it what like the past couple. How
Have
many they
you
won? How many they won?
I think they've won one Super Bowl and I think they made it to the Super Bowl last year. I can't even remember.
Tom Brady beat them the one year with the Buccaneers. So fuck them. Him and
Yeah,
Gronk. I watch it
Gronk.
if Gronk was in it because I mean that motherfucker is entertaining too. Like his antics, he's just you see him like going on them parades and shit. And he's just like stone cold and beer and shit. Like
Yeah, yeah.
I
He's
like
he's
that shit, like that degenerate shit.
Have you seen Dan Snyder's mansion? Dan Snyder, the owner of the Washington Commanders, he is selling his $50 million mansion in Potomac, Maryland. It's 11900 River Road. It's about an hour from where we're at. I've been past it a few times. It's one of those houses where you don't see the house, you don't see the property. When you pull up to the mailbox, all you see is the gate, and that's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fuck Dan Snyder too.
This house is just incredible, dude. It's like a freaking palace. You ought to look it up. Look up the pictures of it. It's got riverfront properties. His backyard looks out onto the Potomac River, and it's just stupid crazy. This
Aren't they?
house.
Aren't they trying to get him to sell the Redskins?
Yeah, a lot of people want him to sell. A lot of Redskins fans and supporters definitely want him to sell the team.
But isn't like the whole like the NFL and shit like they want him to sell it, right?
Well, I don't know. There's a lot of
Because all
people that
the controversy and shit.
I'm not completely sure about that. You'd have to fact check me, but I know there's a lot of Washington Commanders fans that definitely want him to sell the team.
Well,
Bezos,
I mean, he should focus. Look at that. That is a really nice house.
isn't that incredible? You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Billy Madison's dad's house on
Yeah,
doesn't it
I could see
kinda?
that. Yeah,
Where
yeah,
they had
like
that big pool party in the backyard and everything.
yeah, with the penguin and shit.
It's an incredible house. The article that I read showed about 12 pictures and you got to see it. It's incredible.
I don't think that anyone should really need to have a house like that, but I'm not against like that's one of the things like I'm not against even like the NFL players. I'm not against them making their money, but it's like the stupid shit you see like that people say. So you're okay with someone playing with a ball making hundreds of millions, billions over the course of a career, maybe, but like a dude like Elon Musk, who's and Jeff Bezos, like, and for all intents and purposes, like what they've done with their companies, they're not involved in the day to day. So that's more on their mid level management and shit like that. But they created these services for the world, and then you're gonna bash them and hate on them because they only pay their fucking people $18 an hour or some shit like that.
Right.
But it's okay for this fucking jack off to get paid $500 million for a 7-year contract to do nothing but play with a ball for a couple of months. Not saying they don't work hard either. I mean, they do, but it's just a little inflated, if you ask my opinion.
I
You know,
agree. It's way inflated. I think pro athletes get paid way too much money. Baseball stars, man, have you seen some of the salaries of baseball stars? And I'm not saying professional baseball is a walk in the park. I mean, the amount of pressure that most of those guys are under is tremendous. But an outfielder on a major league baseball team is not getting hit and getting smacked around and getting nailed on the field like a football player is. And I'm not saying football players should be making the amount of money they're making, but you get what I'm saying. I mean, baseball for the most part is a fairly low contact sport.
yeah, tell that to me whenever you're getting hit with one of those fucking balls, though. That shit hurts. That and like, I don't know, the football season in comparison, like as far as length is concerned, I mean, they play what, 17, 18 games? They play once a week. Baseball players are playing 3, 4 games a week, 162 games in a season. And if they make it to the playoffs, I mean, they could potentially be playing what's 5, 7, and 7. So they could be playing 12, 19 more games on top of that 162, or one
And
because of wild card. Because so I mean, you could say 100 and upwards of 170 games.
most of those cities too, they're playing in the heat of the summer, July, August, and they're out there baking in the sun. So, in that retrospect, I can see why they get paid a fair amount of money. But, dude, there were several football games this past season where the teams were playing in the snow and super cold conditions up there in Buffalo, New England. So, I don't know. Regardless, they all make too much money. Am I right?
Oh, definitely right. Yes, 100%. They're overpaid and they're assholes. I mean, the ones like Shaq. Shaq seems like he's a cool dude. So I mean, I get down with him. Tom Brady seems like he's a cool dude. Ray Lewis seems like he's a cool dude. It's the ones that I really have a problem with are like LeBron. And I mean, he may do like for charity and shit, but he's just an asshole. He's just a fucking cunny guy. He's a shit fucking person. And like you go on and you want to bitch about whatever issues in the world, but then like, what about your fucking shoes that are getting made in Asia and like China and shit? Like no one cares about what you got to say. Just and like Charles Barkley, I love him, but I mean Charles Barkley came from that era when they still like they were making money, but they weren't making what they make today. This shit they make today that's ridiculous.
Stupid.
Yeah,
Stupid.
it's just I don't know. I don't man. It's just upsetting, and I never really cared for it anyway. I mean, I watched it, like I said, when I have someone that I follow, but I don't even know these people's names anymore, like who's playing. Just because to me they don't have the stars because they limit the game so much. Like you don't have those breakout stars anymore. Like
Right.
because even like across all spectrums of sports, like baseball, football, anything. Like I think hockey's like the last bastion. They're even like cracking down on that.
Right.
You can't fight anymore. I mean, they're the ones they're squared away like going into the game. But like in the game, they kind of it's like, okay, they're fighting. Just let them go at it for about a minute or two. But I think what stopped that was back in the day, it was like early 2000s when they had that brutal beatdown. It was a hockey game. I think he ended up like paralyzing the guy or some shit. And that's when they started kind of cracking down on those guys. Like,
Yeah,
hey,
I think I remember that.
we're cool with the fighting to an extent, but I mean, you just power bomb that dude on a solid sheet of ice. Let's calm it down.
Yeah, right. Take it down a notch.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's been my whole thing, other than that. And then, like I said, just dealing with shitty traffic, you know, driving, you go down, it's coming up to this area, but when you're down in like Baltimore and shit, like you see, how we have like the school enforced speed zones with the cameras down there,
Yeah,
they just have cameras. Like it's not even a school zone,
right.
it's just speed enforced. And I was like, You know what? Instead of fucking spending all the money, because these people do it down there, they do it up here too. But instead of spending that money on fucking speed cameras and shit and red light cameras, they should. If you're a walking person, you don't own a car, you should have a fucking registration on license for that too. And so they should be able to fuck. So if you're a walker, someone that walks consistently through a town, you should. They should install pedestrian cameras. Because these motherfuckers jaywalk and then they want to look at you like you're fucking stupid when you almost hit them because you don't see them just cut out in front. I watched a dude earlier this week. He fucking walked 20 feet up from the crosswalk. He was at the crosswalk, walks 20 feet up, and it was still like it had like 6 or 7 seconds on the timer. So he could have made it across. By the time he walks that 20 feet or whatever it was, and then walks out in front of me, the light's green. I got a fucking guy behind me honking at me and shit. And you got this fucking dickhead who's just like, he's doing this shit to me while he's like in the fucking right in front of my car, like, what do you do?
What?
Walk in the fucking crosswalk, you dipshit.
Oh man.
I watched this dude in fucking halfway there by the fucking where the Powerball and Mega Million sign is. I watched he got hit by a minivan because he was jaywalking.
Damn.
He rolled up, he landed on his feet, dude.
You saw
Like,
it?
yeah, I was sitting at the red light and this car just smacked him. That car had to be doing like 35, 40 miles an hour.
Wow.
Smacked the shit out the dude. And he was on drugs. This dude walked, he had to be. Because I mean, he rolled up the hood off the window and then landed on his feet and gave the car the
Wow.
finger and kept walking.
Good God.
I'm like, holy shit, this dude is like he's like Superman. He's on PCP or something.
He's on that super meth that
Yeah.
we were reading that article about.
Yeah. It was wild. But yeah, put the cameras on pedestrian cameras, pedestrian watch, and start ticketing these motherfuckers. Because me going 5 miles over the speed limit is not consequential to anybody, really.
Right.
Especially when you're in a school zone and it's the middle of July. And then you like, so we'll say it's the beginning of July and you go through a school zone doing 45 and it's supposed to be a 40. And then a week later, you're trying to enjoy a July 4th cookout or something. And you open up the mail and you see a ticket there for you speeding through a school zone in the fucking summertime when there's none of those little jits out there.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I know what you're talking about. I've gotten a few of those before.
It's like, how the fuck are you going to ticket me for speeding in a school zone when school's not in effect?
Those speed cameras are all over Montgomery County. It's like every little town you go into, like Point of Rocks, Poolsville. Poolsville might be Frederick County. I think it's close to Montgomery County. They all have speed cameras. Potomac, Maryland, all of them.
Yeah, that's because I mean, I was down in like PG and all that this week when I went down
Mm-hmm.
to the Air Force Base, and they're everywhere.
Yep.
Like, okay, so what? Like, I mean, I guess in DC you have to have them because they just have homeless people sleeping in the streets and shit.
Right.
So, but I mean, police that. They're like, you're giving me a ticket for doing two over, and it's like, okay, what about the dude that's wiping his ass in the middle of the street?
In front of kids.
Yeah, in front of my kids.
Yeah, I know. I
So
don't
it's
like
like,
that either.
let's add insult to injury here. I get a ticket, and my kids are scarred from watching this dude fucking wipe his ass. Like, they got public bathrooms and shit, dude. Go get a gym membership. Like, save up your little dollars that people give you and go get a Planet Fitness membership for like $9.99 a month or whatever it is. You can use the showers.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
It's just priorities are all fucked up. People want to watch the Super Bowl, like you. You just want to go watch Super Bowl. Watch instead of facing the problems like needing pedestrian cameras and getting rid of speed cameras. We could be
Oh,
making
well,
a change on Super Bowl Sunday, but instead people are going to be sitting there watching TV about Bud Light commercials and shit.
I'm sorry that I like professional sports, Dustin. I'm sorry that I'm not like you and I don't hate professional sports. Excuse me. Sorry.
Well, you should be. You seriously should be. We need to be agents of change in the world. And you're the agent of same.
Oh, sorry.
You're probably going to hell.
Probably. I guess I'm the unholy shitbag of the week, huh?
I'd say it's either between you and Rihanna. You know, she made them change her set list like 40 times.
Oh, here we go. Are you really gonna start bashing Rihanna now too?
Fuck Rihanna.
Oh my God.
I don't know. Like, I don't even like her music. Like, why would I like her music? You already know my opinion on music. I want Woodstock 99 at Super Bowl LVII or whatever the hell number it is now. Like, I want Rage at the
Uh,
Super Bowl. I want them to tear the fucking like the lights down. I want dudes carrying fucking rafters out, the field goal posts. I want to see it just on fire. People burning cars in the parking lot and shit.
they do that a lot more with college football. Like in College Park, University of Maryland, when they won the NCAA national tournament, they destroyed that fucking campus and that town. That poor town was never the same after that. They were
Well,
flipping cars, lighting couches on fire.
yeah, when Araya was little after her liver transplant, we were at the University of Florida, Shands. Well, she had to go back up. She had that in April, but it was like 6 months later or 7 months later, she had some kind of infection. So we had to take her back up. And it wasn't even like a bowl game or anything. It was a game of no consequence. It was just a home game.
Oh
And I mean, there were
God.
couches everywhere in the streets.
Oh my
Shit was
God.
on fire. And I was like, what in the fuck is going on here?
I believe it, man. I believe it. Those college towns, it's certain teams and certain colleges, they just go buck wild after a big win.
That's what I want from the Super Bowl. I want to see that. Like I said, Woodstock 99.
Well, Philly, if Philly wins, the city of Philadelphia is going to be chaos. You already know that.
Well, it's a good thing they're not having it in Philly. Could you imagine? Philly's a shithole as it is.
Oh, they couldn't do it.
No, I mean, you'd have people from fucking Kensington in that bitch and just, you'd have the fucking junkies just, and then people be trying, instead of setting couches on fire, they'd be setting them on fire, the junkies and shit.
Yeah. Oh God, it would be horrible.
What do they call that? The city of brotherly love, huh?
That's what they call it.
That's what it's not. Dude, Philly is an absolute dump. Like, have you ever been up there?
Yeah, I've been to Philly.
It's a shithole. Like 100% shithole. I
You,
say that no qualms about it. Like people from Philly will agree with you that it's a total shithole.
Yeah, my boss, he is a big Philadelphia fan and he's been to quite a few games at the Philly Stadium and they go to Geno's. I think it's Geno's where the original Philly steak was made and he said it's this little hole in the wall in like the worst looking part of Philly you could ever imagine. People hanging out front. I mean, just a bunch of rough looking people in that area.
There's this dude that used to be on Facebook. I think they kicked him off, Levittown Larry. He'd like put fake teeth in and shit, and he'd like act like he was some dumb junkie from. He'd be like, "Hey, mom, give me a cigarette," and shit like that. He was hilarious, but I mean, he was so controversial. They're like, we can't have this guy.
He
They
was
did that to
canceled.
a lot of those guys, like Emery King and all that.
Oh yeah, I know. I miss Emery King, man. That guy was awesome. What a great
Yeah,
comedian.
he was a funny guy, but they were like, we can't have your shenanigans anymore.
His early content when he's walking in front of that rancher out in Kentucky and he's just going on these rants like Luke Perry sucking Tim McGraw's dick or what's Luke Bryan, I'm sorry. Luke Bryan sucking Tim McGraw's dick. Then he's bashing Hillary Clinton. I mean, he was hilarious. That guy was on fire.
Well, yeah, and he probably feels real strong about his country music being from Kentucky.
Yeah. Yeah,
He's them rednecks out there. They don't play around with their country music.
Yeah, he's originally from really close to the part of Kentucky that my mom is from. But did you hear Emery King? Supposedly he's a huge cokehead, man.
I could see that. I could see him
Yeah,
being all yacked up and just can't feel half his face and going out and just ranting about shit. Like I said, he's all yacked up. He just
he's he seems like such a cool guy though. He's the type of guy. If you were getting ready to spend the weekend with him out in Vegas or like California or whatever, you are gonna have a blast.
it might turn to shit with him though. He might turn into like Steve-O, like from that
Oh,
In Your House movie or whatever he did, that Steve-O, the Cribs.
Yeah,
Wh-
pads.
Yeah, where he was all jacked up on nitrous and shit. That I could see like Emery King going down that path. Like he's cool the first part of the night, and then as it progresses and he just gets more belligerent, the more coke he does, he just slowly turns into a fucking monster.
Yeah,
And by
that
the end of the night, he's like sexually assaulting strippers and shit. And
that MTV Cribs parody pads that Steve-O was in. He starts taking a pit. He wakes up after passing out after doing all these nitrous balloons. This is for those of the people that haven't seen it. Not many people have seen it. Then he proceeds to take a piss in his kitchen, goes back and does something else, comes back and he said, "Who took a piss in the kitchen? Who pissed in the fucking kitchen?" Oh my god, it was hilarious. You know none of that was scripted, man. That was all real deal.
what do you say? He goes, just go.
Now get out of here.
That shit was so awesome. That was some of the funniest TV or I've ever or movie. It was a movie, but it was the funniest shit ever. Man, all that shit, like you couldn't get away with half that shit now.
No.
Like that jackass shit that they did, like there's no way you could pull that off these days. It's a different generation, man. They just don't think that shit's funny.
Nope.
They'd rather see videos of people like running up behind someone and putting a trash can over them and looking like they didn't do it. Like it's a
Yeah.
generation of kids that never grew up and they still think fart jokes are funny. And I mean, I guess I think some of them are, but like our sense of humor is so more like it's such a darker sense of humor, like than this newer generation. They just can't handle it. If you guys knew half the shit that I laughed at or made fun of, man, I don't know. You might change your opinion because I have a pretty morbid sense of humor.
Yeah, I know.
I can't help it. I mean, some shit, it's the shit that you shouldn't laugh about. That's what makes it funny because deep down you shouldn't laugh about it, but it doesn't stop it from being funny.
Right.
So, am I just being honest or am I being an asshole?
You're being an asshole.
Combination of both?
Yeah, it's that. Yeah, you're right. It's more of a combination of both.
Yep. So, but yeah, that's how my weeks went. Fuck the Super Bowl. Fuck people that jaywalk. They get me going, dude. Jaywalkers, they're probably on their fucking phone now that all this sports betting and shit's legal. They're probably on their phone fucking putting like DraftKings bets in and shit. They're on fucking
Probably.
Barstool almost walking into a fucking car. You're not gonna you keep walking that way and looking at your phone while you're walking across the street. You're not gonna be on the bar stool. You're gonna be on a fucking bathroom stool because you're not gonna be able to sit on a regular toilet. You're gonna have to get one of those elderly ones that people, when they put in when you get like assisted living and shit.
Got the handlebars.
Yeah. You're gonna have to fucking redo your bathroom. So bar stools are gonna go bye-bye. You're gonna be shitting on a fucking shit stool.
You're gonna be shitting into like a bucket.
Yeah, you're gonna have a fucking colostomy bag and shit. You have a catheter in your fucking pee hole. I hope, I'm not gonna even. That's probably what it is, though. It's probably all to do with the fucking Super Bowl. The amount of jaywalkers I've been seeing this week. People thinking they're gonna get rich quick playing fucking FanDuel and shit. You know, jaywalking motherfuckers. You're not gonna get a settlement from me. You can sue all you want. You were a jaywalker. That negates you being able to get an insurance claim. You shouldn't be jaywalking.
It's a dirty, dirty jaywalker.
I'm gonna run you over. I'm gonna back up over you too, and then I'm gonna be like, "Hey, you okay?" And when you say yeah, you're still gonna be laying there. I'm like, "All right, see you later." I'm gonna run over your ass a third time.
Do you want to move on to some news?
Yeah, let's do that because you're gonna keep me going on this, and they fire me up, dude. They fire me up more than the fucking old people do. Not quite as much as the pandas, but jaywalkers are like, I'd say they're probably two or three on my list. So yeah, let's get into this news because I got to
Yeah,
get off this topic.
I know. I'm tired. I'm tired of you getting all worked up. Not. I just don't want to see you upset anymore.
My face is probably red. It's hot as shit in this room now. It was cool when I walked in. Now it's hot. It's like I'm just
No,
giving
I
off
know. I'm
rage
tired.
energy.
I'm tired of seeing you upset. It's like I constantly see you in distress over these things that go on in your life, and I know, dude,
I got lines in my fucking forehead
you're getting old, man.
because I'm always looking at people like this.
It's aging you.
What the
Your
fuck?
your trauma is prematurely aging you.
It is. It is. And it's not my fault. So, you know what? You people out there that are jaywalking, you people that like pandas, and anyone that's over the age of 70 is driving like a shithead, you're going to fucking kill me early. I'm not going to get the chance to wear dark sunglasses.
What'd you call them? The Ventas? What are they called?
Vanta Black.
The Vanta Blacks. Yeah,
Yeah, Vanta Black. It stands for
like
something.
Death, Darkness, Black.
It's vertically aligned nanotube array black. Is
Jesus
what that
Christ,
Vanta stands for. That's some science shit.
dude. When we get old and elderly, we got to get us a badass pair of Vanta Blacks, man. Maybe Versace makes a pair of Vantas.
They might. They
All right,
might.
well let's get into some news. I got 3 articles. Tell me which one you want to go with first. Number one, doctor paid 60K in Bitcoin to hire a dark web hitman. This is from the hackread.com. I'm going to fire off number two at you. Prostate cancer gave man an Irish accent. This is from the insider.com. And last but not least, there isn't enough copper in the world, and the shortage could last until 2030. And this is by CNBC. Dustin, which one you want to go with first?
Copper, I think. Let's go with copper first.
All right. So the first article of the day, once again, comes from CNBC. Title of this article: There isn't enough copper in the world, and the shortage could last till 2030. This was published on Monday, February 6th. Key points of this article. Come on, dude. A copper deficit is set to induate global markets throughout 2023, fueled by increasingly challenged South American supply streams and higher demand pressures. Copper is a leading pulse check for economic health, and the red metal squeeze that could be an indicator that global inflationary pressures could worsen. It subsequently compels central banks to maintain their hawkish stances for longer.
They're just looking for something to blame inflation on at this point.
Right.
I mean, first it's COVID, then it's the avian flu, and then there's fucking monkeypox. Well, that fell flat on its face. I mean, they just want to blame something for inflation. But I could believe that there is a copper shortage. You know what? And because there's a steel shortage too, I believe, a couple months ago. Like a lot of construction companies and contractors were having a problem getting steel. And I think maybe, I mean, it sounds like it's a worldwide problem, but the problem is the world sold it all to fucking China back in the early mid 2000s, in the early 2010s, when the whole world was in recession. China's like, hey, we'll buy all your metal. And they started building like fucking fake cities and shit. They have cities that are just sitting empty in China.
I heard about that.
Like these gigabyte cities and shit. Like they're ultra high speed, ultra techy, in China. But they built it with fucking metal that we sold them. Like they gave us good price and they're like, watch these stupid people in the Western world just sell us all their metals. And then there's a shortage. Huh. So think about, there's a shortage. We're trying to get back into the chip market, like microprocessors and shit like that, because we want to edge China out of it, because globalization is going to die in the next probably 5 to 10 years anyway, just organically. It was put to the stress, or the stress test was given with COVID, and it failed. And there's no way to have globalization on the scale that we need to. So you're going to see a lot more micro economies, but it was scrap yards and fucking junkies from small towns like this one taking their copper and steel and aluminum to fucking scrap yards for high dollars, selling that shit. It was going straight to China.
Right.
And then the shit that we do get back from them, they're selling to us for fucking double what they bought it for, because they've refined it and they actually make shit out of it. But yeah, fucking copper, man. You need it. So what are you going to do? What are we gonna do for copper? Like, we're just not gonna have new electronics? Like, think about that.
Well, it
I
doesn't
guess like
say.
the copper that is used is primarily like charge cords and shit like that, though. I think like inside of a device, I think there's a lot more of like a lot rarer metals like gold and shit like that that they put into like all that. But still, it's gonna suck not having copper. Copper's a shit metal too. Like it just turns ugly. Like it looks cool at first, and then you let it sit out in the rain, like the Statue of Liberty. It just turns like that putrid green.
Yeah, it looks nasty.
It looks like vomit.
Yeah.
So fuck copper. We should. This is 2023, man. We've been playing with copper for how long? Let's go get some new shit. Let's go raid Mars or the moon.
I think that's probably what Elon Musk would like to do.
I mean, we don't have to live there. Like we want to colonize it. No, let's just go fucking tear the planet apart. Let's stop tearing this one apart and go tear the other ones apart.
All right, well, let's move on to the second article. This is from the insider.com. A man in the US got prostate cancer. It made him start speaking with an Irish accent. A man who had developed prostate cancer developed an uncontrollable Irish accent. His was the first known case of prostate cancer causing someone's accent to change. He was diagnosed with foreign accent syndrome. That's a real thing, I guess. Um, the unnamed man in his 50s went to the doctor after he noticed the tone and the pattern of his speech to change. 20 months after he was diagnosed with prostate cancer, doctors said in the case report published in BMJ Case Reports on Monday, the man spoke consistently with an Irish brogue accent, but never had an Irish accent before, nor visited the country, though he had Irish relatives and friends. The doctor who works in North Carolina and South Carolina said the man also had lost weight, but didn't initially have any symptoms from the cancer.
That's just stupid. Like they made a fucking syndrome up out of nothing. Like this dude just has poor coping mechanisms. That's what it sounds like. Like he's just finding a way to deal with him having prostate cancer. Like Walter White cooked meth, and this dude talks like Seamus.
It's
That's
foreign.
my
It's foreign accent syndrome.
that's bullshit. That's a bullshit sick. Like that's not a real thing. If he's the first person, I don't care. There's that. Like what happened? Did someone stick a shillelagh up his ass? Like, does he is he sitting around eating fucking cabbage and potatoes? Like get real, get real. Like I got prostate cancer, so now I have a fucking Irish accent. I call bullshit on that dude. He's doing it. It's like people that fucking found Jesus on toast.
Yeah, or
He's
like
getting his 15 seconds of fame. And you know what? It's gonna go down in history that he's a fucking retard
oh
for
my
that
God.
one. Like, what a dumbass. An
Oh,
Irish accent from prostate cancer?
yeah.
How? And how do they even justify saying that it's foreign language syndrome or whatever the fuck you said it is? Like, what the fuck? Like, you're just making shit up.
I don't know, maybe.
What, was his doctor Irish?
No, his doctor was a South Carolinian.
So, I mean, this guy's obviously a South Carolinian or North Carolinian or maybe a transplant, but he's American.
Yeah, he's American.
That dude just sat around and he was probably watching too many TV shows with Irish people, and he's probably watching that third season of Sons of Anarchy.
You think he just made it up?
I think he made it up. I think the guy's full of shit. And I mean, if he's out there and he hears this, I'd like to get his take. So come on, prove me wrong that, it was a real illness. Prostate cancer is real. Your bullshit accent disorder is horseshit. Sorry to say. I don't want to rain on your parade, but you're full of shit. That's the only thing I get. Like it's mind boggling. There's no way. There's no way that you just change the way that you speak because you have prostate cancer. I mean, what do you think? Do you think he's full of shit?
I don't know. I've never heard of foreign accent syndrome ever.
But you wouldn't have because they had to make it up for this guy.
It sounds like they. Well, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's pretty hard to believe. I don't think I believe it.
And the way medicine is now, because they don't want to hurt someone's feelings because they're doctors, and for some reason, I don't know if you could even get sued for malpractice because you don't like codify your patients, or it's okay, little buddy. So you just, instead of telling him, "Hey, dude, you're a dipshit," they just make up a disorder for him. Did they send him somewhere to like get testing, like Baltimore, like Johns Hopkins or somewhere like that? Because that's a unique case. I'd want to, check that out. Maybe when he dies from prostate cancer, he should donate his body to science and let him slice open that brain and see what happened.
All right, so foreign accent syndrome is a rare phenomenon where a person's speech and articulation consistently changes so that they sound like they have a foreign accent. It can occur after a stroke, but in this case, it was caused by paraneoplastic syndrome from the prostate cancer. Paraneoplastic syndrome refers to a group of symptoms caused by cancer cells that release hormones and other substances. According to the report, no one with prostate cancer has had FAS before, but there are case reports of one person with breast cancer and another with brain cancer that apparently suffered from FAS, foreign accent syndrome.
Hormones aren't the reason that you speak the way that you speak. Geography and demographics are the reason you speak the way you speak. Where you were born, where you were raised, and people you were around are what influence maybe not the tone of your voice. Like my voice sounds like my voice, but your accent is created, like you have to practice that. Like Joe Rogan doesn't sound like he's from Boston because he put forth effort to not sound like he was from Boston. When I moved to Texas, I started sounding like I was from Texas. I never used to say nine. It was nine. I used to say the shit out. Now I sound like a fucking hick.
Non.
But it happened because of the amount of people that I was around that spoke like that. So I'll give you what this guy has. He has the American shithead syndrome because the hormones from his ass and his prostate went up to his head and turned him into a fucking shithead who talks like he's Irish. Fucking thinks he's Conor McGregor or something.
It's the luck of the Irish.
All right, Duncan MacLeod. He was a Highlander. He was Scottish. But still, same difference. I mean, it's those little islands there anyway. It's all the United Kingdom other than the assholes that are in, I guess, because Ireland's two countries.
Right.
But yeah, he's fucking full of shit. He's a shithead. There's no fucking way. I don't believe it. I don't believe it for 1 second.
Well, are
Maybe
you
if he
ready?
was schizophrenic.
Are you ready to move on to the third and last article then?
Yeah, because that guy's giving me more fucking forehead wrinkles.
I know. I see sweat. I see the vein in your forehead starting to throb right now.
He's a prick. Fucking faking a medical diagnosis.
All right, let's read the last one from hackread.com. Doctor paid $60,000 in Bitcoin to hire a dark web hitman. Ronald Craig Illing, 56, was sentenced to 8 years in prison for hiring a hitman on the dark web to assault and kidnap victims. The doctor in Spokane, Washington, paid $60,000 in Bitcoin as a payment for the task he asked the hitman to perform. This should not be a surprise, as just last year, the U.S. Department of Justice charged a cardiologist with developing two dangerous ransomware strains, Thanos and Jigsaw V2. Oh, that doesn't have anything to do with this crap. All right. So the former neontologist used the dark web's anonymity to direct purported hitmen to assault his victims. The first was a former colleague, also a Spokane area doctor. Illing paid the hitman more than $2,000 worth of Bitcoin and specifically requested that the victim's hands be broken or otherwise significantly injured. He also asked for proof of the task completion. The second victim was his estranged wife. He paid the criminals approximately 60,000 worth of Bitcoin to kidnap and inject her with heroin so she would be forced to drop the divorce proceedings. He even promised the hitman a bonus if the task was completed successfully.
Are you sure this isn't the doctor that's diagnosing people with fucking accent syndromes? Like
I don't know.
this guy's a dipshit. Like I didn't even know the dark web was a thing anymore. Like it's still out there,
Yeah, it is. I mean, it'll always be out there. It's
but
one
it's
of
a
the
little more monitored now, isn't it?
to a certain extent.
So you can still get hitmen though, I guess. Apparently. That's he wanted to and so she would drop the divorce. Like how would that make her drop the divorce proceedings?
I
Like
don't know.
injecting her with that's fucking stupid. Why didn't you just kill the bitch?
That didn't make any sense to me either. I don't know how that would have had anything to do with anything, but what I've heard in the past through people that have researched the dark web and have experience with the Tor browser, most of those hitman sites are completely fake. It's all just a honeypot. The FBI is using it, or it's some kid on the internet just trolling people, probably trying to fraud them out of their Bitcoin or whatever crypto they have. I've heard almost 99.9% of it isn't real at all. Now, the dark web markets where you can buy drugs and everything, a lot of them are real. But these hitmen and the snuff sites and everything like that, it's just all BS, man. It's not real.
I'd be more afraid to go on the dark web and do something illegal than I would like the regular internet. Like I wouldn't use Google just because Google is like I use Google Chrome. Like everybody, it's like Amazon, it's like Walmart, it's like Sam's Club. Like everybody bitches about it, but everybody uses it. But I mean, there I use DuckDuckGo too, but the search results just aren't as good as Google for certain things. But I mean, if I were going to do something illegal, just because the way the government is, like you don't think that they're on that dark web shit, like you have a higher chance, in my opinion. Like I'd rather hide in plain sight. I feel like you'd
Right.
have a higher chance because I mean, you could buy like mushroom spores, weed seeds. I mean, some drugs like just off of Google, or if you'd use DuckDuckGo's search, you can buy it off the regular internet. The only thing is, it's you're not using a VPN or anything, but you could get. You don't need you do need a VPN to access the dark web, but I could use a VPN for just Google, so Google
Clear.
can't track me. So I mean,
Yeah, A lot of people use VPNs nowadays on the ClearNet for everyday internet use.
yeah. So I mean, it to me, it's just either way, you're running a risk. But I'd rather do it like something like. But who hires a fucking hitman off the internet? Like that's something you go to a fucking biker bar for or something like that. Like you go to the dirtiest fucking part of town and you go to that bar. Like, and even then, you're probably like you're not gonna run into cops. And some dude's probably just gonna fucking rob you.
Right.
He'd be like, "Oh, you got 40 grand for me, or 60 grand, or whatever it is." Okay, I'm just gonna fucking let's go. Yeah, well, I'll do it, and I'm gonna take you around by the dumpster and just beat you silly and take your money.
Oh shit.
So I mean, this dude's just a dumb shit in general. Like, the fuck did they actually like break the person's hand? Like, how did he get caught? Did it say?
Well, it was a failed attempt. I can tell you that. The FBI successfully intercepted Illings, which was the doctor's communications on the dark web, and thwarted his plans. As the initial investigation began, he falsely claimed to have been instructing the hitman to kill him instead of his victims. He also attempted to persuade the key witness to marry him so he could control her testimony in court. He offered to pay for her child's tuition fees to attend St. Aloysius Catholic School and Gonzaga Preparatory School. After pleading guilty to his crimes, Illing tried to profit from them by seeking a book or movie deal. Judge Nielsen described Illing's behavior as really egregious and evil, while emphasizing the irony of Illing's actions as a doctor. A doctor's goal in life is to protect people and keep people alive, not taking overt steps to do the opposite, the judge said.
This dude was looking for a Lifetime movie.
This guy he's out of his mind, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's what he wanted. He wanted a Lifetime movie. He wanted to have a movie airing on Lifetime with like fucking some no name actress playing his sweetheart. He's injecting her with fucking heroin to keep him married to her. Like that
Oh,
idea in itself is stupid, but
oh, so you think the whole thing was just made up so that he could get a movie deal and a book deal? Is that what you're saying?
well, I mean, he's a doctor, but I guess he's probably book smart and no common sense though at all. But I mean, I that is a possibility. But I'd hate to say it, but I am erring on the side of him just being an absolute dumbass.
Maybe he's one of those guys that sits around by himself and watches way too many like Netflix specials and movies and everything. And then when he's done watching them, he just has all these wild ideas in his head and feels invincible. Like, oh, I could do that. I can pull that off.
But then he goes on the dark web, like he goes on the internet of all places. Like it's just like I said, the dark web is the dark web, but you know that the government's on there now. They were most likely on it before and kind of let it go to an extent. But then when it started spiraling out of control and it got bigger and bigger and bigger, they're like, okay, we got to put an end to this, like with the Silk Road shit and all that. But I mean,
I,
like, I think they were always there. Like, there's nothing we hide from our government. You trust and believe that.
I want to know how they were able to intercept his messages because it doesn't say in the article. So I wonder if it was like a peer-to-peer messaging on the dark web, or if he was messaging through a dark web site, you know?
He probably didn't even, like, first off, he's an idiot because he's looking online. So he probably didn't even have the right steps to be on the dark web. Maybe he didn't have a VPN active and he's like on Tour Onion, just unprotected.
Well, look, I'm going to tell you right now, from my research and my experience, the sites that hold the most legitimate stuff is not a site that's advertising itself. Okay. It's not putting on its homepage, we have this or we have that. It's a site that you go to and it has two bars in it. One is a username and one is a password. You can't even get past that page. And it's just a blank page. There's nothing else on it. There's no graphics, no site construction. You have to put in those credentials before you can even get to see what's in there. So a real dark web site, besides the dark net markets, the markets are a whole different ball game. But any malicious things going on in the dark web that are legitimate, they're not advertising. They don't
Yeah.
want you to know they're there. You have to find it through somebody.
Yeah. And you can't even get in like half the sites. It's not like you type in www.facebook.com. It's like some weird, a random assortment of letters and numbers.
Right.
And then that's how you get even to go to a site.
Right.
So I mean, it's built for hackers and coders and shit. It's not built for
Exactly.
like it's not my dumbass just trying like Googling where can I find a hitman.
Right. You
But
but
it's
before you get access to a lot of those sites, you're invited by somebody who is already in that circle. Okay. So you can't just go frolicking through the dark web and find what you're looking for. It's not that simple. It's really not. And if it is that simple, it's not what you think it is.
yeah, that guy is just. But it's like I said, I don't think that there was like a snitch or anything and like that. I just think that there's certain things, and we think that we're all smart and like you have the dark web, but the FBI's in there, the NSA's in there, the CIA's in there. They're
Right.
monitoring all this shit. And
Department of Homeland Security.
if you don't think they have moles in every single outlet, you're wrong. You're dead wrong.
Yep.
They're watching our every fucking move.
Yep.
When you're walking on the street, those speed cameras aren't just speed cameras. Dude, they feed live video. So if someone wants to, like, if there's someone at the State Department or the NSA or something that wants to get into that camera, they can use, I mean, they can see you picking your fucking nose. They could probably see in this bedroom, me looking out this window at the sky. They could probably see from a satellite me sitting here picking my nose. So why would, like, I wouldn't fucking go online to try to find something like that. Like I said, I'd go somewhere, find some, or just word of mouth through people, like, just bring it up subtly in conversation. People will start talking if they know someone that they think's a little crazy.
Right.
Everybody's got a crazy cousin, crazy uncle, crazy sister that do some dumb shit. They be down to do some dumb shit. Everybody knows a junkie. Hey
Right.
man, I'll give you $1,000. You know how much heroin you could buy with $1,000? All you gotta do is go kill my ex-wife. And then it's done. Like, but this dude's going on the fucking dark web with $60,000 in Bitcoin. The fuck out of here, idiot. What a dumbass. Like, it's amazing. How is he even a doctor?
I know.
Like, come on now. Man, they should he maybe he has Lyme disease or something. He's just like lost his brain. They should maybe do a mental evaluation. You go from prestige and you're a doctor for Christ's sake.
He's got one of them brain worms that they got to pull out of your nose and everything, where it affects your like neurochemistry and all that.
Yeah, tapeworm. He's got a tapeworm or something.
Well, no, not a tapeworm. That's one that's in your stomach. See, they got worms that go into your brain too. It's like I think like down in the Amazon and shit.
It's like an amoeba or something.
Yeah, exactly. And it affects your brain chemistry. It's real. You can look it up. I don't know a whole lot about it, but I've heard about it before.
It's like Venom, like a symbiote. It's probably
Yeah.
aliens. Aliens
Hey,
trying to wipe out. We're gonna be in a fucking M Night Shyamalan movie.
oh man, you're right. That's wild, isn't it?
And this doctor's gonna be the fucking star of it.
Did you hear about it's kind of similar pertains to what we're talking about, but the Salem witch trials, did you know that a lot of people think that they had yeah, you know what I'm talking about, where their harvest of rye ended up getting wet and that rye developed a fungus on it which is called oh, I can't remember what it's called,
Argot or
but
something.
argot, yeah, and that fungus is the derivative of LSD, and they think what was going on was these people in Salem were ingesting this moldy rye with this ergot in it, and were having LSD hallucinations, and that's what caused the entire Salem witch trial.
When I was younger, I used to get rye bread and put it under my bed for a couple months and try to get and like I'll get it moldy, but I was always too scared to fuck because I didn't want to die. So I was on like your Eurowid and all that Eurowid or whatever it was.
Yeah, I remember that.
I was on all those websites trying to find shit. I mean, I would eat like morning glory seeds and shit. I'd just have a fucking stomach ache from it because it's stupid. But
You
yeah,
never
so I
got
tried
fucked up.
that. No, no, not once. I mean, I'd get fucked up on like Benadryl and like triple C's and shit, but never like anything that was like morning glory seeds or like close to like being peyote or ayahuasca or anything. No, no luck there. But I did try that. It was moldy, but like I said, I was just a chicken shit. I was like, yeah, I don't want to get sick. I don't think I want to die. That's just, it wasn't worth it. But yeah, the shit can happen. I mean, I'd imagine that like you're fucking tripping out on pretty much acid and like you just see crazy shit everywhere.
But you don't know you're on acid. So to you, this is as real can be.
Yeah. Well, we both know people or knew people that like I have a friend of mine, you remember him though, Rodney. He's schizophrenic and it stemmed from a bad trip on acid. I mean, he was normal before he did it. And then it was like after that day that he ate that acid, he was never the same. Like he's
He was
still
like,
not.
it's like a permanent psychosis.
Yeah, they diagnosed him with schizophrenia, but it's schizophrenia caused from LSD. I mean, he's a lunatic now
Right.
because of that one instance. I mean,
He's gone.
that's why I never really like fucking with that shit, man. Just because you never know, you don't know who's making it. You get, and that's why I never ate that rye bread. I was like, I'm not playing with that demon. I just didn't try. Either I'm gonna die or I'm never gonna come back, and I don't want to be crazy for the rest of my life.
You don't want either one.
I've already got enough going on in my brain. I don't need the help of that.
I
Fucking
believe it.
waking up and you seeing like demons and shit and aliens and all that shit. Like, no, I'm cool. I'll pass on that. I seen something on my news too, though, and I want to bring it up right before we end the news segment because we do these robots. You've been bringing them up, and there's this Hellsberg or Hellsberg. It is Hellsberg because they got robots on the fucking loose. Hellertown, Pennsylvania. Marty the robot escaped from a Martin's grocery store. Marty the robot is a little robot, and they put googly eyes on, and he goes around and just cleans up messes and shit like that. So that's pretty fucking scary. Marty, what did he have on his mind? I think Marty was going out there and trying to kidnap kids and shit.
You think it was going to be like an iRobot scenario?
Yeah, I think that's a conspiracy that's unraveling with that. I think that Marty, because he's in Pennsylvania, I think he's trying to kidnap kids and take them to that pizza shop. The robots are in on it at this point, I think.
Oh
So,
my God.
AJ, we need your opinion on this. We need to see. We need to get to the bottom, and we need to get the truth about Marty the robot.
They're turning the frogs gay.
They're coming for your kids. It
He
seems like
sounded
an innocent robot, but I know that Hillary Clinton was in on programming it, and it had sweets and hard candies, and it was trying to get the kids. I seen it. There was a black man, so I know the FBI was involved also. We need to get to the bottom of the robots. They're coming for your kids.
Dude, your Alex Jones is great, man.
I'm sick of it.
Let's go to
They
phone
sued me.
calls.
They sued me for trillions of dollars. I don't have any fucking money. Joe Rogan's my best friend.
I like in some of those episodes during the court proceedings in Sandy Hook, where he would just start off the show. He'd be like, "Yeah, so supposedly I'm a millionaire now. Yep, I'm a millionaire. What do you think?" He'd be talking to the cast and everything. What do you think? We're worth $1 billion now. Isn't that great, guys? Yep, we're all billionaires. Just making a joke out of it.
Have you seen some of those people that used to work for him? Like they come out with like stories about him. There's this one dude said because I guess he has a Hellcat or had a Hellcat Charger, said that it was like 10 o'clock in the morning and Alex was already fucking shit faced hammered. And they're doing like 90 through Austin. He's drinking fucking whiskey while he's driving and he's just ranting about the fucking government and shit.
Oh my God.
That he's just like, he's going ballistic. And he like, then they get to the studio and he's just like, all right, let's go in here and do the show. And he's
No,
just,
I haven't. I didn't know about that.
yeah, there's some wild stories about him. I bet you he's a fucking blast to hang around with.
I have heard that later on in his career, he did do quite a few of those shows under the influence.
Dude, he's a raging alcoholic. You can tell by looking at him.
Yeah, he's all red faced and everything.
Dude, but I guarantee you, how fun would it be to go like 6th Street, Austin? And you don't know much about 6th Street, but if you look it up, it's nothing but it's a bar everywhere. But it would be fucking fantastic to go with him down 6th Street and just party all fucking night long. I guarantee he does blow too.
Speeding down an Austin, uh, road with Alex Jones at the driver's seat of a Hellcat, with us sharing a bottle of bourbon, that's like bucket list material for me.
Oh yeah, that would be awesome. And he's just fucking going on about something. They're turning the frogs gay. I've been saying it since 1996. I went into Bohemian Grove. Know what they're doing. They have
Dude, your
children up there.
your Alex Jones is on point. But you know what? Give credit where credit is due. That guy snuck into Bohemian Grove. Okay, he literally went where no man has ever went without invitation.
Yeah, yeah. He's went his I stopped listening to him around like 2012, 2013. But I mean, I credit maybe 3 people with me wanting to do what we're doing right now. Alex Jones is one of them.
Hell
Like I
yeah,
remember watching the early episodes of Alex Jones. I think I'm the one that got you into him, ain't I?
you are. Yeah, you
Because
did
I would
back in.
send you this shit, and I'm like, it's like 2008, and I'm like, Will, check this shit
Yeah,
out. There's a deep state all around us. You got to fucking watch this video. It's like a 5-hour video, but you got to watch it. And I would sneak that shit into you all the time.
and I did. And buddy, I got hooked, man. I traveled down that rabbit hole. And you know what? Still to this day, I'm an Alex Jones follower. I'm not the biggest conspiracy theorist in the world. I think more of it's interesting rather than some of it's just unbelievable. But Alex Jones, man, he's great. I'm sorry, but he's great.
Alex Jones is a national treasure,
Fuck yeah.
but he should stop saying that kids didn't die when they did.
But
That
that was all taken out of context and it was misquoted. And dude, I'm telling you, I don't think he really thought that. Okay. I think he was piggybacking off of a theory that was going around.
I think it's like 9/11 with a lot of that shit.
Yeah.
I think it's like it's a convenient tragedy. Like I don't think that the government was involved in planning any of it. I don't think that it was fake or staged. but I think they kind of knew. I mean, for maybe not all of them, but I think they just let it happen for the sake of being able. I mean, look after 9/11, the Patriot Act. It's one of the biggest takeaways of American freedoms in history.
Right.
So, and I feel like, especially Dick Cheney, maybe not George Bush because he's a fucking idiot, but Dick Cheney knew it. Dick Cheney's a fucking smart dude, and he wanted the control, and who better than, someone that like with Halliburton, Enron, all that shit, all those companies that he's wrapped up with, and even Trump, like they get their fucking hooks in you. Like the last national security guy for Trump, I don't remember what, not Mike Pompeo, but he was another, the defense secretary or whatever. He was a fucking executive for Northrop Grumman. Like swamp, he wanted to drain the swamp and he puts the swamp right back there. Like,
Yeah.
so, but yeah, Alex Jones, man, he gets some of it right. And I think that, like, if you can weed out some of the bullshit that he spews, and if you can get past his little fucking outbursts, like that's why I stopped listening. Was like, dude, he's just yelling all the time. I can't fucking listen to it anymore. And then Joe Rogan came along. Like, that's when I started listening to Rogan, was like 2010, 2011. So I'd bounce between Rogan and Alex Jones. And then Rogan just kept getting better and better,
Right.
more interesting guests. And I was like, okay. And then I stopped listening. I'll still catch him every once in a while on like Rumble or something. But, by and large, I don't listen to everything he has. It just, the trial shit was great though, because he'd go on there and just rail. He's like, and this bitch, that bitch judge. And he's like, and then the next day he's sitting there in court and he's like, yes, ma'am. But he would fight with the fucking prosecutors and shit too. He'd be like, I don't know. Do you have my phone? No. Well, you said you have my phone records. So why don't you tell me? Well,
Oh,
we're
I know. He
asking you. And he's like, well, if you have the records already, why are you even asking me? Why don't you just tell me what it says?
he was such a smart ass, man.
But that's how court is. Like, you can't, well, you can ask me to incriminate myself, but Alex is, and most people should be that smart to not incriminate themselves. Like, if you have evidence, it's the burden of evidence and to prove guilt is on you, not me. I'm not going to fucking lead myself into a trap.
Right.
Like, what does it say here? Do you have it? You read it. And then maybe I can give context to what you have. I'm glad that if I went to court for something like that, like in either being sued or like my livelihood, like maybe I committed a crime or get accused, I'd get thrown in jail just because I'd be in contempt of court. Because I'd get so unruly with it. I'd be like, this is fucking America. That's when I'd go Alex Jones. I'd be like, what happened to innocent until proven guilty? I'm sitting here, I can't pay my bond. Like, this is not a reasonable bond. I have a right to a speedy trial. This isn't a speedy trial. I've been sitting in jail that's maybe what we need to focus on as a country. You're sitting in fucking jail, in county jail, for fucking a year or more, waiting on a trial. The fuck kind of shit is that? Because they denied your bond. You have no prior record and they're denying bonds, or they have your bond set at $1 million. Get the fuck out of here.
It's bullshit. All right. Well, we're about an hour in. You want to do the Pick Your Pawn Stars Super Bowl edition?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's throw Alex Jones in there too.
And
I'm
this,
fucking with you. No, we're not going to do that.
I was going to say, it's going to be a little difficult. I guess we could, but
He'd be like,
let's.
Dustin, we're stuck on this plane. We're stuck on this plane for 14 hours. Let's do a bunch of blow. We have internet access. We'll get X Hamster up on the thing. So we'll do a bunch of blow and drink all the alcohol they have and just watch dirty strippers on X Hamster. How's that sound? Then when we get on the ground, we'll drive my Hellcat through Austin and I'll be shit faced.
Oh, that sounds like a great weekend.
Sorry for cutting you off. You can go ahead.
No, I loved it. I thought that was great. In fact, it just something else to add to the bucket list, if anything. All right, kids, this is the Pick Your Pawn Stars Super Bowl Sunday edition. Once again, we are excluding Rick. We're going to lay out 3 scenarios for you. Dustin is going to answer these scenarios, but feel free to place your picks in the comment section if you so choose to. First question, Dustin. You own an NFL team, okay? Who do you choose as the head coach for your NFL team? You can choose either Pops, the old man, you can choose Hoss, Corey, Rick's son, or you can choose Chumley, one of those three.
Pops, he's a slave driver. He would work that team. He would make sure they were in tip-top shape. He would not let them cut corners. He'd call them dumbasses when they need to be called dumbasses. He would make them put in the work because he would want to win a championship.
So you think
Hands down.
Pops would get the most out of your team?
Yeah, he has the best work ethic out of those two or those three, but the other two just don't have the same tenacity or testicular fortitude that Pops has. He was in the Navy. He would put the hammer down and ensure that the team was a winning team. He wouldn't accept failure.
I think I agree with that.
I think that he would get the best out of them. He'd be able to motivate. You know, I'm sure he picked up some tips and tricks too in the military and how to motivate without being a total asshole. So,
He's not stupid. He's strategic and logical, I think, for the most part, probably especially during his prime. So I'd have to say I'd go with the old man too.
yeah, well, remember whenever they had the challenge in the one season when whoever could gross the most money for like their sales through the month?
I
And
remember.
then so he had them on the hook. So he had them doing their best work. And then at the end, when it came time to give the money, he's like, I had the best sales. I get the money.
Yeah.
So he'd do that to the team too.
All right. Well, let's go. Let's move on to the second one. So the second one is definitely an interesting question. Which one of the three Pawn Stars would you choose to be your halftime show musician coordinator? So, in other words, this would be the person who picks the artist or the musician to perform at the Super Bowl halftime show. Chumley, Corey, or the old man, Pops.
I think I'd go with Chum on that because I feel like he listens to a good bit that's like the same as what I would listen to. But then at the same time, I feel like he would throw some weird shit in there too that I'd never heard of, but I'd be like, man, this is fucking cool. Because I mean, I get a lot of weird music from friends of mine, shit that like I would never have thought to listen to. Shit, even on my own. Like I know how I am with music, and I found fucking bluegrass rap music. Like who fucking finds that? Bluegrass rap music. It was pretty fucking dope too. Like I was Lacey's like, what the fuck is this? But I feel like Chum would be like that kind of character. Like he'd throw in some heavy metal, he'd have some hardcore gangster rap, and then I'd get fucking like orchestral heavy metal rap. And I'd be like, huh, but it would sound okay. I'd be like, this is fucking cool. I dig it.
So it's like Beethoven mashed up with like Slipknot.
Yeah, and like with Snoop Dogg in it too.
What the fuck?
Like they're just playing like heavy metal fucking organs and shit. Just dun, 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 and then like Snoop Dogg's just rapping over it. You got fucking Slipknot and Mass like banging on drums. And
What
then here
the
comes
fuck?
fucking Snoop Dogg crip walking out, like playing drop it like it's hot to this shit.
Okay. That's interesting.
Like
All right.
we're not saying that it's something you'd listen to every day, but you would be entertained.
You'd definitely be entertained. All right, let's go for the last one. This is the question of the day. You're the coach of a professional NFL football team. Which one of the three Pawn Stars would you pick to be the quarterback for your winning Super Bowl team?
None of them.
You got to pick one.
Man, I don't have anybody on like a fucking second string, third string.
Let, let
Shit.
me let me give you who I would pick. Okay, I'd go with Corey. I'd go with Hoss, and the reason is because he lost all that weight. Dude looks pretty trim. He's tall. He's over 6 foot. He's probably the healthiest out of those three, even out of those four. If you add Rick, I would say your safest bet for quarterback, if you have to pick a pawn star, is going to be Corey Big Hoss.
I'd agree with you there. I was leaning towards Corey, but then it's just like I let the like fuck no get a hold of me.
You
I was
did.
just like, none of them. Absolutely not. Just it just
You
doesn't
did.
work. I couldn't
That
get my brain around that.
that was rude, man.
I can't help it. None of them were worthy.
Is it
We're
because it was a professional sports question and it
no,
just
we're
that
talking
instantly?
about we're talking about paying people $500 million to play with that ball. They don't deserve it to play with a ball. We need
Well,
Tom Brady.
that's all I got for the Pick Your Pawn Stars Super Bowl edition. Um, Dustin, what do you got to wrap up today's episode? Is there anything else? The unholy shitbag and the holy saints of the week. Who are your picks? I,
Uh,
I got a
unha-
feeling. I got a feeling with the holy saint of the week. Is it going to be the goat? Is it going to be Brady?
no, he lost that right whenever he was crying like a bitch.
So
Like,
you're not making Tom Brady the holy saint of the week.
no, I can't do it. He's over. He's done. He's disappointed me. Like this, he was like I said, he was the last bastion for the NFL for me to even watch it. So I mean, I'm disappointed now. And I mean, like I said, I can't even get behind the fucking Ravens anymore. I used to like Harbaugh, but man, that dumb motherfucker wants to run 2 point conversions every single time. Just kick the goddamn field goal. Take the easy point. They've lost games by 2 points because he went, or no, by 1 point because he went for the fucking conversion to try to win it, which in some session, like in some ways I applaud that, but at the same time it's like, fuck dude, just tie it up and we'll beat them in overtime. Like you're giving us another chance, but no. And so I mean, yeah, I just can't do Brady. I can't do
Well, who's your pick then? Who's your saint of the week?
just because he gave me a good laugh this week and we had some fun, I'd say Alex Jones.
Ah, there you go. That's a good pick, man. I wasn't even thinking that, but you're right.
We had some good fun with at his expense, and we're not laughing at you, Alex. We're laughing with you.
Yeah.
I think you got a better heart than what people are giving you credit for right now. And
Oh
I
yeah.
think that you're going through a lot of shit, but you're going to come out on top just because you got the heart and the character to do that. I think you maybe need to think before you speak sometimes and lay off the booze a little bit.
Yeah.
But you got a heart of gold. We had some fun this week. So I think you're the holy saint. I think the unholy saint, if we could both agree, is split between doctors. In my opinion, for sure, the doctor that is trying to hire hitmen off fucking Yahoo search. And I think the doctor that diagnosed the fucking guy that had prostate cancer with an accent syndrome.
Foreign
Uh,
accent syndrome.
but I think the shitbag doctor that tried to hire hitman off the internet, I think he takes the trophy on it.
Agreed. I agree. That guy was a stone cold idiot.
Yeah, not only are you an asshole, you're an idiot too. You're an idiotic asshole. There's no hope for you in the world.
What do you think? He wanted that hitman to break that coworker's hands so that he couldn't perform like surgery or anything anymore.
So he could get the surgeries. I mean, he'd have to make up the Bitcoin that he was buying to pay the hitman. So he'd have to break his hand so he could fund the hit on his wife.
No shit. Well, that would suck in general, having your hands broken. My God, imagine how limited you'd be for what, 6 to 8 weeks, maybe a few months, depending on how bad your hands are
With
broken.
both hands, you can't do
Oh my
anything
God.
with them.
It's like that guy on Sons of Anarchy, remember? Where he was
Tucky.
masturbating. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't. His hands were gone. He
Dude,
just had thumbs.
that would be horrible, man. I mean, that'd be horrible.
He'd find someone to jack him off.
It's not
Maybe
the point.
not as many times as he wanted to do it, but
Dude, you could barely play video games. I mean, you got thumbs for the joysticks, but how are you going to access the other buttons?
it's a good question.
No trigger buttons. That's out of the question.
I
You're
mean,
not going
unless
to
you're
be.
like, because they had those plastic ones made for him, so you hold it close to your belly and just force your arms back.
Oh, that would suck, man. And forget PC gaming. That's out of the question for the rest of your life.
I game on a PC, but
But you have four fingers and a thumb.
yeah.
This guy has thumbs.
Well, he should have thought about that while he was jerking the gherkin.
Yeah, no shit.
So yeah, I mean I think that's it. I think that's all. I mean, just and I want One more example of kids being idiots. Okay, I've got to get this one out in the air
Here we
because
go. Here we go.
okay, so because I'm gonna come
Get
up with
ready,
this
folks. Rant coming up. Stand back. Stand by.
every single week. I can prove my point to the Karen. Okay, example of kids being idiots. I asked my daughter, my oldest daughter, we got chicken tenders for the youngest, and she didn't want to eat them. So I asked her to take the 2 chicken tenders out of the Sonic little carton that they came in, and I said, put them into a sandwich baggie and then put them into the fridge. So what does this dumbass do?
Oh my God.
She puts the carton of chicken tenders with the chicken tenders in it in the bag and doesn't seal the bag up, negating the whole purpose of a bag. If I wanted the chicken tenders to be put in there like that, totally uncovered, I would have said, hey, put the carton of chicken tenders in there in the fridge. Like, what's the purpose of the bag at that point? Why wouldn't you zip it up? So, just so the Karen knows, kids are idiots. And also, they should put fucking mandatory cameras on kids, not just the pedestrian cameras, for these kids that walk home from school also. Because
Oh
these
yeah.
dudes are fucking acting like it's WrestleMania 99 out here in the middle of the fucking street. They're trying to power bomb each other or thinking it's fucking MMA in the streets. And I
Right.
almost fucking hit like 15 of these little idiots in the middle of the goddamn street this week.
Oh my
So,
God.
2 examples, Karen. I'll have probably 2 or 3, maybe even 10 the way my kids are fucking going right now. I'm telling you what, they're on a goddamn roll. So just stay tuned so I can continue to give you information so you're educated and idiotic children.
Can I say one last thing before we close out?
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you to all the viewers out there. Uh, Dustin and I, and mostly Dustin, have been putting together some really great tips, or I'm sorry, clips and shorts on YouTube and TikToks. And we love the feedback. We love the viewership. It's great to have you guys along. And I know there's not a whole lot of you, but to the few that are keeping up with the podcast, watching the shorts, interacting, we love you guys. And we respond to everybody. Dustin more so than I do. This guy puts in work. All right. So thank you. That's
Yeah.
that's it.
100% thank you. Yeah, I mean, I wake up and for most of the clips I schedule them, but I do wake up every day around 6:30, and that's way out of the norm for me. And I check the clips. I see, there's one morning I woke up, I posted it at 6:15. I woke up around 6:45, 7 o'clock, and it had 1,000 views. So I mean, I was stoked about
Wow.
that. It had like 4 or 5 comments. So I went on real quick and replied to the comments while I was laying there, half
Hell yeah.
asleep. But I mean, yeah, we definitely appreciate it. This is what we're doing it for. We're doing it because we have things we want to talk about. I mean, it's nice, reconnecting with a friend. We've always kept in contact through texting, but it's nice having the interaction, talking to them live and in person. But having people along with the ride for the conversations that we have, it's definitely an added bonus. We appreciate you guys hopping on there and watching. I know they're not short episodes. I mean, this one's about an hour and a half. Last week's was an hour and a half. And that's why we cut up the clips for you. So if you can't watch the full episode, and that helps get another audience also, that, maybe they're on Facebook or TikTok or something like that, that they don't go to YouTube, and they get to see the little snippets and kind of have a laugh with us. I try to make them the lighthearted or the funnier ones, the rants, things like that, just to give everybody a chance to get some laughter. And it's, the things I bitch about generally are all in good fun. Love my kids. Most of the shit does irritate me, but it doesn't ruin my week. I have a great week. I don't have a bad week. It's just I see things that annoy me, and it's good to get them off your chest. It's a good therapy session for us to have. So we appreciate it. Again, from the UBEC podcast. Thank you guys for watching. And we will see you next week. Hopefully, the Philadelphia Eagles don't fucking win. Hopefully, neither team wins. It goes to like triple overtime. They just have to call it, and they never have a fucking Super Bowl again.
Oh my God.
So, but yeah, we'll check you guys next week. Stay on that lookout for the clips that we're posting, and thanks for tuning in.